The true cost of raising kids in America. America's birth rate just hit a record low. We're now at 1.6 children per woman. You need 2.1 just to replace the current population. For the first time in American history, more women in their early 30s are childless than are mothers. This isn't an accident. This isn't a cultural shift towards selfishness. This is economics. I talked to 32-year-old Alex, who's decided she probably won't have kids. She's got $80,000 in student loan debt. She pays $1,800 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. She makes $65,000 a year in a city where that's barely middle class. I can't even afford to take care of myself, she told me. How am I supposed to take care of a whole other human being for 18 years? And here's the part that should alarm us. Alex wants kids. She's not choosing childlessness. She's being priced out of it. Because here's what nobody's telling you. It costs $310,000 to raise a single child in America, from birth to 18, and that doesn't even include college. This is the true cost of raising kids in America, and it's breaking us. Let me show you what that $310,000 actually looks like. Meet Sarah and Marcus, both 32, teacher and software developer. $95,000 household income. They want a baby, so they pull out a spreadsheet, because that's what you do now. Year 1, diapers, formula, doctor's visits, $12,000 minimum. Then childcare until age 5, $14,000 per year. That's $70,000 before kindergarten. Sarah realizes that's more than her entire salary after taxes. She'd literally be paying to work. Then the school years, sports fees, music lessons, smartphones, car insurance at 16, $310,000. That's a down payment on 3 houses. That's a medical degree. That's early retirement. But here's what that number doesn't tell you. There's another cost Sarah and Marcus can't quantify. Sarah's maternity leave, 12 weeks, unpaid, because America is the only developed nation without guaranteed paid parental leave. 3 months, no income. They'll drain their emergency fund and start over from zero. But the real cost, Sarah will likely never make principal. She'll miss the evening meetings, the weekend trainings, the networking events, because she has to leave at 3:30 for daycare pickup. Economists call this the motherhood penalty. Women's earnings drop 4% per child. Men's actually increase, the fatherhood bonus. Over a lifetime, that's not thousands, that's hundreds of thousands, maybe 1 million. And then there's the mental load. Sarah will remember the pediatrician appointments, buy the teacher gifts, organize the play dates, notice when they're running low on milk, 24/7 for 18 years minimum. Unpaid project management. How do you price that? Now, let me show you 2 extremes. Jennifer, single mom, 2 jobs, $32,000 a year. She qualifies for Medicaid and WIC, but here's the trap. If she gets a raise, she loses the assistance. The math doesn't work, so she stays poor on purpose, because that's the only way to keep her daughter fed and insured. Then there's Amanda and Richard, $250,000 household income. For them, raising kids is an arms race. Private preschool at $30,000 a year, SAT tutors at $200 an hour, summer programs in Costa Rica, college counselors charging $15,000 to craft the perfect application. They'll spend closer to $750,000 per child. Both families, Jennifer and Amanda, are responding rationally to the system we've created. One is trying to keep her kid from falling through the cracks. The other is buying her kid a spot at the top. And the middle, Sarah and Marcus, they're getting crushed. They make too much for help, not enough to play the game. They're cutting coupons for violin lessons, driving used cars to afford the good school district, doing everything right and still drowning. Want more stories like this? Subscribe for deep dives into the systems that shape our lives. Alex isn't alone. Millions are doing this same calculation. Student debt, rising rent, stagnant wages. The math doesn't work. 20 years ago, the average first-time parent was 25. Now it's 30. Not because people don't want kids, because they can't afford them yet. And for many, by the time they can, it's too late. Meanwhile, other countries are actually helping. France, subsidized childcare. Sweden, 480 days of paid parental leave. Germany, monthly child allowances. Japan, paying people to have babies. America, a $2,000 tax credit. That covers 2 months of formula, maybe. We've turned having kids into a luxury good, something only the wealthy can comfortably afford, something the middle class sacrifices everything for, something the poor get punished for. We write think pieces about why young people are choosing not to have kids, as if an entire generation just suddenly stopped liking children. That's not what's happening. We've made it too expensive to build a family in America. Sarah and Marcus are still sitting at their kitchen table staring at that spreadsheet. They'll probably have 1 kid, maybe. They'll make it work somehow, skip vacations, drive old cars, and it'll be worth it because they'll love that kid more than anything. But they'll also lie awake wondering if they're doing enough, if they can afford the college fund, if a second child means bankruptcy. And that's the real cost we don't talk about. It's not just the $310,000, it's the stress, the impossible choices, the talented women who leave their careers, the dreams deferred, the siblings never born. It's a generation who wanted to be parents but couldn't afford to be so. In the richest country in human history, we've decided raising the next generation, the literal future, is a personal problem, not a collective responsibility. $310,000. That's the price tag we've put on the future. The question is, can we afford not to change it? What do you think needs to change? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Know someone struggling with this decision? Send them this. You're not alone in this impossible math.